I think that one thing that I'm really looking forward to and am very excited about seeing in Star Wars Episode 9 are the various cameos that will make their way into this movie by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are very interested in when it comes to this film is exactly how this movie is going to end and exactly what cameos we can actually see in this movie. Now, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film these past couple of months or so when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. And a lot of people have been wondering about the character of ObiWan Kenobi, the Jedi Master himself, portrayed by both actors Ewan McGregor and, of course, Sir Alec Guinness. Now, what's really intriguing, and this is where things get very interesting for this movie, as we get closer to the very end of filming for Episode 9, is that it is said that Disney and Lucasfilm are trying to find ways to recreate the character of Obi-Wan for a scene with Daisy Ridley, using similar technology from Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and are in search of voice actors. It is also said that some dialogue of Obi-Wan from both the prequels and the originals are being meshed together, along with dialogue that will be presented by a new voice actor or actors to complete the sentences used in the film. It's also implied that Obi-Wan will be CG over an actor in a mix between Guinness and McGregor. So this is raising a lot of questions, and it really does take me back to the days when we heard about Yoda being involved in Star Wars The Last Jedi in the form of a puppet. Now, if you look at the Rogue One tech, right, I think that they did a fantastic job, by the way, with the character of Leia and Tarkin. Me personally, I think that, you know, Leia was far, I think that she was far better done than that of Tarkin. If you look at Tarkin, in my point of view, there are some flaws with the lighting here and there. The reason as to why I believe Leia was done correctly is because she's in one single, frame, and pretty much it's a brief scene, right? A brief sequence in which she's not moving too much. So it was pretty near exact the same as the Leia that we saw in Star Wars A New Hope. Now, with that being said, the fact that they are using the same exact technology from Rogue One, I would assume that this is going to be CG over an actor's face. Now, the fact that they are looking for voice actors or a voice actor to complete the sentences used in between some of the wording between both Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor tells us that they are trying to give us a full-fledged scene of Obi-Wan Kenobi talking to Rey. And it most definitely falls directly in line with some of the concept art and storyboard descriptions that we have actually heard about before in the past of Rey having scenes with both Obi-Wan Kenobi and Luke Skywalker himself. I mean, if you look at, the whole entire history of the Disney Star Wars movies, each and every movie has a major cameo, right? If you look at The Force Awakens, we got the glorified cameo of Luke Skywalker at the very end. If you look at The Last Jedi, it's Yoda. If you look at Rogue One, it's, of course, Leia and technically Vader. And if you look at Solo, it's Darth Maul. So now in Episode 9, we do know that there's going to be multiple cameos in this movie as a way to create a lot of nostalgia and fan service in order to really respect the very end of the Skywalker saga and to close things forever. Disney has made it very clear that this is the final installment of the Skywalker saga and that they are actually going to be done with it and just moving on forward to the new Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones and, of course, Rian Johnson's new trilogy as well. So looking past all of this, do you guys think that this is a good idea? Because I'm not quite sure if they're going to get this right, where they're going to CG the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to pull this off correctly by mixing the visuals of both Ewan McGregor and Sir Alec Guinness. I mean, I guess it can be done. If you look at Tarkin, they got that pretty good. And let me tell you, Cushing, a very hard face to actually pull off in CG, so they did a pretty good job with that. Now, as far as Yoda goes in The Last Jedi, this is where things concern me a little bit for Episode 9. As much as I love the character of Yoda, I gotta say, in The Last Jedi, Yoda was off for me because of the comedy that was inserted into the character. And what I mean by that is the comedy element for the character of Yoda in Episode 8 wasn't all that accurate, because Yoda was only being that way, right? That funny, odd, strange way on Dagobah in order to test Luke's patience, right? By trying to see how long it would take before he could annoy Luke and kind of get angry. So it didn't necessarily make too much sense as to why Yoda did, you know, what he did on Ahch-To in The Last Jedi. Just my point of view. And also the look of Yoda was a little off when it came to the puppet. As far as Obi-Wan Kenobi goes, this is a totally different story in place here. It goes Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 for Episode 9. So the fact that they are trying to get this all done and pretty much together last minute tells us that Obi-Wan most likely will appear at the very end of the film. And for all we know, you know, we could hear him in the beginning or middle of this movie and not necessarily see him. So that's another thing to keep in mind here. After all, in The Last Jedi novelization, there's a big hint that Obi-Wan was talking to Luke just before his death, where Luke Skywalker thinks he heard a piece of dialogue saying, "Let go." And that definitely falls in line with what he said in A New Hope, "Let go, Luke." But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.